Oh, alright, this video is bound not to go up on YouTube. I've been trying to do this for a while now, and the video just becomes way too long because I get so into it. Guys, this is Blade Check 101. I really want to talk to you today about different blade styles, different blade configurations, different blade shapes, for lack of a better term. I have some paper here. We're going to do some cut tests. I have some samples here, just a couple samples of each, nothing too extensive, of different blade styles. Let's get into it. Starting with the spear point design. Awesome. Okay. No, the spear point design is really good for tactical use. Obviously, it's how it was designed. It's really good for a thrust cut, a stab, if you will. Well, it did go through. It just came right back out. The stab is, very effective. It interrupts vital organs in a tactical situation, things like that. Now, in a cut, though, in a tactical situation, and quickly I want to discuss this. Modern armor, okay, is not the armor that we think of when we think of Kevlar vests, bulletproof vests, things like that. I'm talking about the armor of street thugs, of bad guys today, and it's primarily loose, baggy clothing. You try to cut against something like that, and it's very ineffective. You cut against something that's tight, right up against the skin, it's like cutting skin. It's like just going straight through, there's no problem. But when it comes to a knife, trying to cut through something that's loose and baggy, it just lets it kind of glide past it, as opposed to bunch it up and really get in there. It's very difficult to make a good solid cut with a lot of the blade styles that we used to love when the styles of the day were totally different. Okay? So now, let's talk about the tips of a spear point design. This is where the cutting money is. Now, as far as EDC goes, as long as you have a really sharp blade, it's going to cut, alright? Basically, that's how it is. But you take a good sharp tip like this, like that, like a spear point design or a dagger or whatever, and you cut with the tip, and it'll cut every time, okay? Wherever you want it. Now, the way you have to kind of hold it is in a saber grip, because if you just hold it in a hammer style grip with gross motor skills, as you know, under stress, fine motor skills go out the window, gross motor skills take over. So you're going to need a lot of precision. Thus, the saber grip really is the best way to go with a spear point design, because you want that tip to be used, okay? You want that tip to be the primary use. So a gross motor skills cut like this, every time you're going to get awesome cuts with the tip, okay? So moving on, outdoor use, let's not even talk about that with these, it's just messy. Tontos, let's talk about tontos, those are cool. Alright, tontos are really good, tactically speaking. Again, the abrupt point that I was talking about right here, it allows, let's say, you're up against a guy who's wearing really baggy clothing, like I said. Now, you're going to have that loose, baggy clothing. They're wearing paper. Alright, anyway, loose, baggy clothing, alright. Now, a simple cut, you can see that it's just going to pass through, okay? Now, you take a good hard whack with a hammer-style grip like this, and you hit the edge on it, okay? Wrist movement, not going to work so well with gross motor skills. It's just not, okay? That is a fine motor skill. It's out the window now. See ya. Fingers, again, not useful. So what do we need? We need a good solid grip, i.e. either a Filipino style grip where the tip is going to kind of go forward like this, alright, where that secondary point is the cutting medium, so we do get a nice cut, or a saber style grip, where again, that'll cut very nicely. So that's really what's necessary with it, to be honest, is you really need a good solid gripping mentality when you're talking about tip configurations. When you're cutting with the tip, you need a tip forward grip, like this. The thrust obviously is going to be very effective with a tonto. It's also, again, what it was designed for. It's very strong, very accurate. It'll pierce right through, and then, just cut As long as you, again, have a really good sharp blade, there really shouldn't be too much issue as far as EDC. With a good Tonto fixed blade, outdoor use, really nice. Hunting, not really. You're talking about trying to skin an animal with an abrupt point like that. It's not going to happen very cleanly. It's going to be very messy for you. And the gutting of an animal, or rather, yeah, the gutting of an animal is also going to be very messy. There's no way to skin or to go past the animal without really messing up its internal organs that way either. So outdoor use, as far as camping, stuff like that, useful. Hunting, stuff like that, shite. EDC use, here's my cautionary tale. It's great for a while until this happens. This tip has started to recede, okay? It's no longer really, it's still usable, and I could absolutely reprofile it, no problem. But after a long while, all the force naturally, okay, as you cut something, is going to go straight to a tip, straight to that secondary point. That secondary point is what wants to cut. The edge, as you can see, won't cut. Even though this is a razor sharp knife, it'll shave hair right off my arm. But that secondary tip is what wants to cut, okay? That's what needs to cut. So, there's that. Sweeping blades. Sweeping blade. Okay, as you can see, we have a lot of belly to these knives, a lot of belly to the edge here. So, what is that going to do for us? Well, as far as outdoor use, prime example of an excellent skinning knife, boom, right there. A lot of wrist action, a lot of finger action, a lot of, movement this way. You're going to create long cuts, not deep at all. And that's not what you want in the outdoor, in skinning an animal either. You want basically long cuts. You want accuracy as opposed to depth. Okay, it's useful for that. Now, when it comes to EDC, you're gonna allow things really to kind of. I mean, this is a really freaking sharp knife. That's a lot of hair off my arm now. Great, I have a nice bald spot for you. Look at that. Even I'm holding this tight, and it's just going to allow it to pass by every time, even at a push. Okay. Now something that's a little bit more solid and at the base, good cut. Okay, and it'll do that. But if you're talking about cutting with the tip or anything like that, it's going to allow everything to pass by. Same thing with practical use. Even when I flick my wrist. And I'm adding fingers. I'm adding a very long, deep cut to this. And again, with this modern armor like I was talking about, you're not going to get a really great cut with something like this. Okay? And it's been said that this is one of the best designs to have in tactical use. And against bare skin, you're absolutely right. Because as soon as you hit that skin, it's going to pop right up. It's going to allow you to just go in. It's not going to go deep, but you could get a long cut that way. Now, obviously, in a thrust, like I said, you could sharpen a file at one end. Just the broad end of it. Thrust, and eventually it's going to go in. So thrusting is not really much of a test as far as that goes. Not too great there. Total opposite of the spectrum is the hawkbill. Hawkbill design, karambit design, whatever you want to call it, cat claw, okay, whatever. Basically, it's a tip forward design automatically. You can hold this thing in a hammer style grip. And if I put my hand just like this, parallel to the floor, that tip is always going to be forward. Same thing this way. It's going to be always tip forward. Now that tip is the abrupt change in angle that we're looking for. The abrupt change in angle, hammer grip, loose baggy clothing, cut every time. You will mar someone up with this. It's like them walking into a blender. Tactically, this is the best knife to use, bar none. You can this is amazing. Gross motor skills, like you just saw, you would tear them to shreds. What it's doing is loose baggy clothing is bunched up. In fact, it's more effective. You get in and cut to pieces. It's just amazing. The one place that it falls short slightly in tactical use is you really have to pay attention how you learn to use a knife like this. If you're planning on doing anything where you're hitting the arm as it's coming by, okay, you don't know if that's going to catch the arm on a bone. It may, and as you do this, you may still have that guy's arm right there. And he may be able to just stab the shit out of you. So you're going to have to learn to puncture that arm, slice this way, puncture whatever, the neck, the arm, cut this way. It's a puncture and cut movement when it comes to limbs, because you don't want those things to be able to move with you. If there's another blade or a weapon in there, you'll just end up passing it right by yourself again. Okay? So you want snappy type movements, just boom, boom, boom. Okay? Really just, you're concentrating on that point when it comes to the limbs and things like that. Now, outdoor use, okay, hunting-wise, creates a very nice gut hook, okay? You can just pop it through, glide right in, very nice that way. Skinning, it's going to suck. You know, basically, if you cut guts with the knife on a person, you're going to do it with an animal, okay? Plain and simple, that's how it's going to go. So while that's good for one thing in a self-defense situation, if you're fighting for your life, it's great. If you want to savor that meat, if you want to keep that skin, not a good idea. Just not, okay? You're going to go straight in, it's going to suck. You're going to have a really messed up piece of leather or whatever it is that you're getting it for. As far as other outdoor use, not so great either. Camping and shit. Fishing, it's really nice only because you can cut line really, really nicely. EDC use, it's really nice because you can actually get that tip in there and cut, and there's no problem with just getting in there, cutting, and you're done. Emergency use and things, sneak that right behind a seatbelt or whatever, pull it, and that hook will actually allow it to just pop right out. Now let's talk about my favorite, the Wharncliffe. It's the perfect combo between this crazy damn thing and that. Okay? You're talking about right smack dab in the middle, a completely straight blade, alright, with wonderful edge geometry, by the way. This one is a Dirk Pinkerton Meyer Co. Warning that I've customized quite a bit. I did a patina on there, I did a bunch of handle stuff, I gave it some spine jimping there, all that. Basically created a better knife out of it. Anyway, the Wharncliffe style blade is going to cut with force all the way to the tip, creating a really nice cut. Okay? It also allows you, whenever you thrust, okay, while it's a regular thrust with this, it goes through really nicely, and you can just pull through and create a really nice deep shearing cut with it too. It's the best of both worlds, compromising very, very little in it. And also, if you're doing anything like, you know, that type of self-defense, where you're cutting arms before, you know, to defang the snake, if you will, you're still letting it pass by. You're not really pushing it too far through. While you're still cutting with force, your wrist really is what allows it to pass by. Whereas something like this, your wrist has to go all the way back here before that passes by, and that's really uncomfortable. Something like this, it's just not going to work. This will just pass by that way. It's very nice that way. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. If you want to see anything more as far as blade design, stuff like that, please let me know. I'd love to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I really, really appreciate it. Guys, stay safe. Thank you for watching my videos, and have a great rest of your day.